Welcome to the Long Game Podcast. I'm your host, Sandra Scaiano. Today, I'm giving you an update on my visibility journey. A few months ago, I declared for myself that I am going to put in the effort to support my visibility for my business. So I'm doing these quarterly updates to share the journey with you. There's never a right or a wrong answer to what you do to put yourself out there. But I know that for me, I'm at a place in my business where I'm ready for the next level of what's in store. So I did the first visibility update back in October, and you can check back to episode number 77 to hear where I started. And this week, I am sharing what has transpired in a few short months of committing to being seen and the lessons that we can all glean from the experience. You're listening to the Long Game Podcast with Sandra Scaiano. In a world where everyone is doing, it's easy to get lost in a sea of comparison, secret tricks, and promises of overnight success. The long game is my approach to business. The actual day in and day out philosophy that you have to show up, you have to do the work, and there's no quick fixes for long-term success. I'm a web designer, digital strategist, and energetic thinker, and I'm here to share the process and lessons I experience with my clients daily who are going through the same struggles of building a business as you are. We'll hear from successful entrepreneurs sharing their long game strategies, and I'm fun, so we're going to have a little fun along the way too. Thanks for being here. Let's get to today's episode. Visibility is a process. The developments from your efforts, they unfold over time. And it's something that takes consistency. Sending one email only gets you so visible. It's the consistent showing up that builds the relationship. That allows for your audience to get to know you over time. So, ultimately, visibility is about relationships. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to build relationships, to get to know people, their visions, their dreams, and to get to know them intimately. That connection on a deeper level, those are the conversations that I want to be having through the work that I do. All right, so let's get to the visibility journey lessons. All right, number one, and I am putting this number one because this one can be a game changer. A well-placed testimonial can do wonders. Testimonials are part of visibility. So many times we add testimonials to our own socials and programs, and of course, they're important there. But when people see a testimonial written by a client in a Facebook group, that effect can be quite powerful. So my client shared reaching an impressive milestone, over $500,000 in her digital products, in a Facebook group of the software that we use. And that group is filled with my ideal client, and her writing about her journey from her perspective and how I was instrumental in it, and then tagging me, it really prompted people to act. Here's the thing. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that testimonial was posted until I started getting inquiries, DMs, and my free consult call scheduler was, blowing up. So we all ask for testimonials, and you should be getting them too, of course. But guess what? You can ask for your clients to leave the testimonials wherever you like. Some people post on your social feed and then tag you, or their own social feed and tag you. Some people want Google reviews, or some people ask for Facebook reviews, podcast reviews. That's another one you can request. So the lesson here is that you can request a client to leave a testimonial anywhere that works for you. And, here's the thing. You can still screenshot that post, that review, and use it on your website. You can take those loving words and put them on your sales page or wherever you need a social proof. So it doesn't just have to be on your timeline or written to you in an email. So if there is some specific place that you and your client share access to, it's okay to ask them to shout you out in there, because a well-placed testimonial can do wonders. All right, visibility lesson number 2, honing your signature talk. So if you heard me talk on episode 91 about the importance of a signature talk, here is a real life example. All right. The well-placed testimonial response that I had gotten, I got over 30 calls booked. Like that was really exhilarating and honestly a bit overwhelming. I wasn't prepared for that influx and, it had me juggling a lot. But what came from it had so much depth. Like I honored those calls with everyone. I spent an hour with each person learning about their visions and then sharing my visions as well. I met so many amazing entrepreneurs at various stages of their business. So my process with consult calls is to do a little research on each person before our call. And then with that, and listening, I was really able to identify what was needed in these businesses, like what the next steps should be. And admittedly so, I give a lot of strategy out for free on these calls, but really I'm okay with that because, this isn't about fire hosing people with a sales pitch. It is the first step in building a relationship with them. And by speaking on the phone for an hour, it's a pretty meaningful and accelerated start to getting to know each other. So these calls were a time for me to hone my signature talk. Each person on Zoom with me was the perfect audience to hear my message, hear my philosophy, and hear the framework that I've created. So I brought my energy to each call and I received so much in return, like real life feedback from the people who need to hear what I have to say. So that was pretty powerful. And, I didn't have my talk all written out. I knew the pieces of it, the important parts to bring up. And because it's a conversation, I flow, right? Like sometimes I didn't say everything, but I took note of the parts that drew a response. And I made sure that I said them the next time. And through this time on these calls and talking to people, like I honed my signature talk. So, I'm ready for when the Today Show calls. Okay. So lesson number 3, you've got to put your offers out there. And we know this. We've heard this before. But once you build a relationship with your audience, talk about your offers. They want to hear them. They are following you for a reason and they are looking for an opportunity to work with you. So I have been wanting to create a small group strategy program for the past year or so. And this fall, with all my visibility, it really moved this idea forward for me. So having a group offer was perfect to share with some of the new people that I was meeting. But it was also perfect to share with some of my existing audience or all of my existing audience, with whom I have developed a relationship with. And so having the offer and talking about it, I mentioned it on my podcast. I wrote it in my weekly email and I spoke to people one-to-one about it. So people they heard that offer and they asked to know more. And the outcome was the most perfect fit people signed up for the program and to join me on the start of this journey. So, I am just elated with how that all worked out. I mean, it's a win for them and a win for me and a win all around. So, you've got to put your offers out there so people can join, and not only for my group program, but I am also signing clients into other offers and programs too. So from being visible in groups and visible in my networking and relationships and visible with SEO, people are coming my way. And when the time comes, I make the offer. I give a good dose of my signature talk, in my signature way. And then I share how we can work together. So no matter what you're offering, if it's a physical product, a digital course or a membership, or even one-to-one services, build your offers out and then make those offers to your audience and to the people in your world and in your network. Okay. Visibility lesson number 4 for today. Whatever you're doing, do it consistently. So a quote from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits: most people need consistency more than they need intensity. Intensity makes a good story. Consistency makes good progress. So, here I am consistently emailing my list every week for months now, in addition to almost 2 years of weekly showing up on this podcast, So with the email now, that was something I really wanted to implement. And people have emailed me such nice responses. People who I didn't even know they were paying attention, let me know that they are. And people have reached out to work with me through the emails and through what they heard. All of this came from hitting send each week. And I also want to mention, in addition to, just putting yourself out there with consistency, you also get data from consistency. Like when you are consistently doing something, you're collecting that data along the way, which is allowing you to make informed decisions going forward. How can you better yourself? How can you tweak? What should you tweak? If you are doing something consistently, you're able to look at your KPIs, which are your key performance indicators, and decide what element needs to be tweaked or what you need to work on. So consistency delivers data, and that's a knowledge of what's a hit and what you need to work on, and it's another way that consistency helps us to progress. All right, I've got one more thing to share on this visibility update. All right, people, I did it. I posted my first TikTok. Okay, I'm there. I'm on the platform with all the pet videos, the cute kid videos, the recipes. But like every platform, I'm going to find my people. So check me out. If you're on TikTok, you can find me at Studio Sandra Sky. And you can bet that I will be taking the lessons that I've shared here today and applying them to what I do over there. And oh my gosh, the more I say it, I'm going to have to upload another video because it's only the first one so far. It's really cool to see how all of this visibility, the marketing, the offers, like everything is intertwined. So don't let overwhelm come knocking at your door. Take it one step, do it well, and then do that consistently. And it's going to bleed into the next step, already giving you an upper hand when you're tackling it. All right, guys, it is super fun to be sharing my visibility journey with you. I want to thank everyone for listening, and drop me a line. Let me know what you're doing as well. You can always DM me on Instagram or find my email, hello@sandrasky.com. You can contact me through my website. I would love to hear from you. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me today. You can access more info in the show notes at thelonggamepodcast.net. If today's show connected with you in some way, please share it with your friends or hop on iTunes and leave me a review. Until next time, keep playing the long game. This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.